Y'all, we are live. I am so excited. So, this is another episode of the Living Powerfully experience. That's right. It's an experience when you live powerfully. You get to actually create the life of your dreams. So, what living powerfully is a combination of mindset training and business training. It's really all about how do you create the life that you've always wanted, life that you have and you want more of. How you do those things that you love with ease and in flow. And so today I have one of my favorite people here. These are all my favorite people. These are all some good people here. But someone you haven't heard from is Miss Dr. Casey Winans. She's of Meraki Holistic Wellness. Hello, Dr. Casey. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Tracy. Blessed to be here. Excited to be here.
Yay. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
So, one of the questions that I like to ask people, so as you do your introduction, I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell us, what does living powerfully mean to you?
Hey, well, I'm Dr. Casey Winans. I am the founder and CEO of Mayraki Wellness, Holistic Living, and living powerfully to me, what I know it to be is having full accountability and understand. I'm going the health route, having full accountability and understanding how to care for your body and know what it is to really be your own doctor. So, to the full accountability is what is the bulk of our programs and our lifestyle, and just knowing what it is, using the air, the water, the fire, everything, all the elements of the earth to naturally heal your body and take care of yourself. So natural movements and just having the knowledge of being fully accountable for your health. And there you go. I can't hear you, Tracy, if you're talking.
Ooh, thank you, Alcin. I love that so much.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank
good.
you. I saw Michelle smiling. Michelle, do you want to do a quick introduction as well and just tell us, what does living powerfully mean to you? So we have people joining us specifically for the art of living exceptionally, living powerfully, tapping into both their mindset and the power of what they can do differently in their business. So tell us, what does living powerfully mean to you?
My name is Michelle Grant. I am the owner of Blue Flamingo Business Solutions. And I smiled when she said that because it's such a holistic approach to life. If you want to succeed in your business, in your family, out in the world, I believe that the components of your health is going to play a major role in that. And to incorporate that in everything that you do will guarantee you're more successful with making sure you're having the right energy, making sure you're eating the right foods, making sure you're, getting enough sleep. Some people are sleep sensitive. I'm sleep sensitive. So I know I need 8 hours in order to fully be functional, to be ready for the day. And so I smiled because I believe that holistic approach to everything is the best way to go.
Mm, love it. I love it. We also have a super special person. Jonathan Johnson is the president of the NAACP here in Tacoma. And as you all know, the NAACP has some hard tasks, some hard strategic initiatives, right, that are in play, and they've been around for decades. And so, when you're a leader of an organization with that type of history and legacy, you have to do some self care as well, right? Living powerfully is about supporting our community, right? Supporting the business, right, that we're in, the help community, but it's also about supporting yourself and living your best life. So, Jonathan Johnson, you know, that word can mean different things at different times, but today, when you think about living powerfully, what does that mean to you?
Mhm. I thank you, Tracy, and I take it as an honor to be here with such an auspicious group. But when I think about living powerfully, I think about the people that we face every day, people who are facing tremendous problems in the world. They come in with a mindset that's maybe probably generations. telling them they're not good enough. And my role when I face people who are facing these kind of problems is to first hear them, let them know they're heard. And I have to do that to myself too. I have to let myself be heard. I have to know when my blood pressure is high, my heart rate's going up, and probably my blood pressure. I need to know, just like the folks way back in the 60s needed to know, don't let these folks get your blood pressure going. They're not going to kill you with your own body. And when you know that you are making a difference, you know they're going to come at you. And I try to make sure folks know, listen, I can't change the world for you, but I'm here beside you. We're going to be here with you, and we're going to work this thing as far as we can together. And some of the problems we can't fix, and I'll try to be as honest as I can be. But I want them to know that what they're facing is not totally new, but when we have control of who we are, they can't take and drive us like a train. They can't drive us down the tracks as far as they want to take us. When we know they're doing a game, we can back up and say, oh, I can put the brakes on. I still have control of this. And we can drive living powerfully, letting folks know they have the ability to control their space. And when they're controlling their space and everything around them, they don't have to sit back and say, I'm the victim. They can continue to be the person they want to be and not let somebody push their buttons and make them react in horrible ways. So yeah, I'm excited about what this means, because I know that mindset is so important. We've all heard the stories of people growing up and hearing phrases like, you just like your uncle and he wasn't worth anything. And we need to expunge those conversations. We need to make sure we know who we are, and we need to make sure everybody knows that, that's your opinion. And I could say what opinions are worth, but I'm not going to do that, because we're probably in a space where young folks will be.
I love it. No, I love a couple of things that you said, Jonathan. You always take us on a journey, right? And what I love about what you said is, you may have heard from someone, even someone close to you, someone in your family, that's told you that you're not enough, that you're not going to turn out, to any good, right? They have these traumas, right, that have occurred in their lives. And then they basically, we oftentimes perpetuate that, right? And so what the good news is, living powerfully is about being in a position to truly change your life, to change no matter what has happened in someone else's life, no matter what has happened in your life. You actually get to start over daily, moment by moment. You get to actually start over. You get to actually change the outcome of your life. You get to choose what you believe is possible for you. And I think that's really what living powerfully is about. So Dr. Casey, one of the things that she and I are working on is like, how do I change, some of my physical wellness and physical well-being? And we're working on a program and a platform. I don't, because we were talking, I talk to people on a regular basis. I've probably done 1,400 interviews, literally, with amazing business people, leaders, executives, exceptional experts, right, in the area of mindset, right, as it relates to entrepreneurship, as it relates to actually being a professional in business. And what most people say is that we can all agree that living powerfully means different things to each of us. Dr. Casey, what I wanted to ask you about was this idea of transformation, right? When you believe something negative in the past, something that you would often say to yourself, you actually are an expert when it comes to creating what I call, powerful beliefs. But you help people to do that through a number of ways. One of them is focused on affirmations, right? Not just saying affirmations, but believing the affirmations. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So the power of transformation. So I am faith-based and I believe in the word of God. And the only reason why I can say that so confidently is because I have had miracles performed in my life, in my family and friends' life, And I believe that the power and death and life is in the tongue, and I believe that you shall have whatsoever you say. And the word of God said, "To who believes, they receive." So it's not up to your child or your husband or your wife to believe for you. It's up to you to believe. And when you believe in something, you speak it, no matter what anybody says, no matter what it looks like, no matter how it feels, because faith is not a feeling. It just is. And so having an imagination is very important. Having an imagination is extremely important. And what I do is I help people prioritize meditation. And within meditation, there, I do use faith-based connotations, meditate on the word day and night. So I help people prioritize their mind, meditation, um, sit there and just imagine. I don't care if you feel like, I don't care if you're imagining yourself running on Saturn. Imagine something that is not in front of you right now, and allow that to turn into who you want to be, where you see yourself in 3 to 5 years. Because a lot of people, they forgot how to imagine, and they forgot um how to have a childlike faith and heart again. So in order to believe what you're saying, the more you imagine, the more faith, the more belief comes um comes into your mind and into your dreams, and then the more you'll see physically. I mean, I could talk about this all day, Tracy. And so I actually do create, and I send my clients their confessions for the week based upon the desires of their heart. And we either talk throughout the week or text, or at least once a week, to touch base, to make sure you prioritized your meditation time, because a lot of people don't see themselves as a priority. A lot of people don't see their washing their face as a priority, let alone sitting there and meditating for an hour, right? So it's kind of just hitting that reset button, and making your imagination truly come to life by what you say. So, Tracy, you're on mute.
Oh, thank you very much. Three things. So I'm doing what Dr. Casey told me to do, y'all, is drink. She told me to drink more water.
Oh, Lord. Oh, you're drinking it right now.
I was. So I'm muting myself so that I can. I filled this cup up 3 times in the last 12 minutes. So I'm drinking like Dr. Clark. She told me.
You better be drinking it all
and drink. I guess I need to just keep it off of me, because apparently I'm not. So yes. So 3 things that really sat with me. I'm focused on one. This idea of visualization. So this Living Powerfully series is about. Jonathan just wrote, I'm hearing that transformation is a process. So if you want to put any of your comments in for others, feel free to do so. Jonathan, I think you put in the private chat. You can share that. I think you guys are doing some great work. I actually know for a fact that when you think about living powerfully is an opportunity to truly do exactly what Dr. Casey said. Visualize what you want. Not just whether you're a believer or not, whether you're a believer in a higher power, which I am, that is my source of true power, is really my belief. But what I can tell you is the power of the brain, the power of the mind, the neuroscience of the brain says whether you believe in Christ or in Muhammad or Buddha or the universe, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call it, there are actually scientific, metaphysical, biological things that have been proven related to the neuroscience of the human brain. When you believe and visualize something for yourself, your brain does not know the difference if you're imagining it or if it's true. Let me repeat that. It does not know the difference, right? Research has been done for decades, right? We have people who are practicing, shooting basketball. Some people are doing it in the physical. Some people are practicing in their minds, and others are doing nothing. Those people who practice it physically and those people who practice it in their mind's eye, who just imagine it, they each have about a 25% increase in their success rate equally, because their minds did not know the difference whether they were really shooting or imagining that they were shooting. So you can apply that to anything and everything in your life. I'm losing weight. So guess what I imagine? These rolls, I imagine that I'm turning my success, I call this my success sack. I'm turning that into a six-pack. So I imagine that it's already here. I imagine my arms look like Dr. Casey's. I imagine that they're already toned. You see that? You see that? I'm imagining it. Like every day, I'm imagining, how much I love to eat vegetables, right? We get to create the life of our dreams by visualizing it as if it has already occurred. As if it's already occurred. Michaela, I know you've talked to your daughters about this as well. As if it has already occurred. Let's talk about the important. You're a coach as well, right? As if. Talk about the as if, the imagining, the visualizations as if. And Dr. Casey, Jonathan, anyone
I talk about daily vision. So for me, in order to feel more empowered through my day, I touch up on my vision. I always take that minute, and I love practicing the pause. I will take that minute and I will solidify my energy with visualization every single day. And I do that because I know that is the key to God's power, right? God wants us to think. He wants us to meditate. He wants us to nurture those things. He wants us to feel that love. And we have to pause in order to understand that, right? So for me, meditation has brought me closer to myself. It's helped me understand the power that we have as individuals, but it also helps me understand and respect the power in others. And so I see people as like these superhumans when they walk around, especially when they meditate, because that's where your manifestation is. Every single goal that you have starts with a dream. It starts with a dream, and you can perfect that dream. You can touch up on that dream. You can build that dream. You can pivot and remold that dream. And it's beautiful because the imagination of an individual, especially a child, is so precious. We forget how precious that is. Agreed. And that's what we are. We're children in adult bodies now living our dreams. We're living our dreams. So I have a healthy.
If we're lucky, we're leaving our dreams. By lucky, I mean if we've decided. My next book is actually true. Again, I don't think I even introduced myself. My name is Dr. Tracy Harrell. I'm actually representing two organizations. I'm representing my consulting company. It's called It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting. Actually, three. I also have a ministry called It's All Bigger Than Me Ministry. And this is a ministry of the mind, right? Because what I know is that we get to shape our lives through our minds. The power of our minds change everything. I'm also past president and currently vice president for the National Black MBA Association. And we're leading a series called the Better Together Empowerment Series. And one of the things we start with mindset in the beginning of these, but then we also move into conversations around business. And I know one of the things I've shared recently is about this $200 million community reinvestment fund. You heard it, not 200,000, $200 million community reinvestment fund. And these are dollars that are available for organizations really trying to fix groups, Black, Hispanic, Indigenous populations that were negatively, disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. And so they're bringing dollars to our community, some related to reentry services, some related to any number of financial support. There's going to be a number of different things, but buying homes, creating a space for people to buy homes who were never in a position to do so, where this war on drugs, for example, caused our communities to be less than profitable, less than successful. So can you imagine, Dr. Casey, you know it's true, right? What if someone could give you a house, you could win the lottery, and if you don't believe that that is for you, if you don't believe in your heart that is for you, you would lose it. You would not, you would do whatever, you don't even know how to keep it, because your belief system dictates your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, and your your results that you get in your life. So talk about, even if someone was given a house, given $1 million, how their lives aren't required to stay.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's actually very funny that we didn't plan this for you to ask me this, or I didn't even know that you were about to mention what you just did. I say it's funny because my pastor Bill Winston actually just gave a testimony of how someone was blessed. Someone basically had a trailer park home. They were blessed with a 12-bedroom home. And their question was, how much is the light bill? Like, they went straight into fear, and so fear, fear can cripple you, right? And if you're not, first of all, yes, you're right. If mentally, if you have not nurtured your mind to receive the blessing, then, I mean, even if a person meditated to receive this manifestation or blessings, you got to take care of it, right? That's why a lot of the prayers and prayers should be, God, give me not only the gifts or the manifestation, but the power to keep it. And so, yeah, so the first question this person gave was, how much is the light bill? And then they went to fear, and then they didn't even want to accept it out of fear, of how am I going to keep it? And knowledge is power. And so, I mean, with just to give you guys more of an idea, because I did like what you said about the body itself. I'm Dr. Casey Winans because I have my degrees are in chiropractic and functional neurology. So I'm a chiropractor and functional neurologist. And yes, all neurology, anything from the brain to the body connection, whatever you speak and say to your body, it believes you. It just believes you. Like she said, the imagination with shooting a basket. And if you tell yourself you were going to win, the body gets excited. Think about it. If you think of something that's like scary or that made you mad, you immediately start sweating. You're like, why am I sweating? Like, if like, I mean, so you imagine something that's not so happy and you start sweating, you start breathing extra hard, and it hasn't even happened, but the quote unquote anxiety came over. Not anxiety, it's thought. You need to change your mind and how you're thinking and probably eating and exercising. But it's the foundation of your thinking that translates into, that materializes. So yes, ma'am, for sure. If a person receives a blessing that they think is too big for them, it'll be too big for them. So yeah, I definitely agree.
I love
it. Can I step in? I was just so impressed with that thought process that she was talking about. And it impressed on me just one thing that's so important. You have a person who's just gotten a huge home, and their mind, I heard just recently that we have 60,000 thoughts per day. And if those thoughts focus on your not being enough, on your inability to succeed, you're repeating that 60,000 times a day. And you break it up with one thought that says, oh, you could win, but then it falls back into that habit of 60,000 a day. We have to find a way to interrupt that, discipline the mind to think. And there's where the creative thoughts come in. I've had a person they were stressing out, and I would just ask them, think about that conversation we had yesterday. Remember what you were talking to me about? And within a few minutes, the stress was gone. The creative brain was turned back on. they've gotten out of the stress part of their brain, and they're into, oh yeah, I can create new things. And now that discipline of maintaining that. So I was just about to write the question, how do you see the importance of mindfulness, the ability for us to recognize, we're sitting there watching swiping those 60,000 thoughts, and we decide which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to expand. So how do you see the importance of mindfulness, the ability to manage those random or purposeful thoughts?
I love it. Yes. And it's interesting because we have a Dr. Monique Jordan who joined me a couple of weeks ago. And it was so interesting. She uses the term ants, those automatic negative thoughts. And we all have them, right? The thoughts that are meant to protect us, those thoughts that are meant to, I use the word limit us, right? Those limiting beliefs, but we have them, they're automatic. And so the deal, right, that helps you to be successful. And Michelle and I are actually in a program, it's called the Positive Intelligence. So good, right? But it's really this focus on, being a guardian of your thoughts. So when those negative thoughts comes in, he associates it to putting your hand on a hot stove. That sensation is important, right? Like it's hot, you move your hand away. You don't hold your hand on a hot stove, right? You don't meditate on how warm it kind of feels as your skin is melting off, right? Like that's not how it works. And so if we could just equate the thoughts that we have, the things that come into our minds, if we could create or equate, the negative thoughts that come in our mind, they get to land for a second. Oops, thank you. Oops, hand out the hot stove, right? Yeah, you don't get to land. Negative thoughts don't get to land in my mind for any extended period of time, right? Warrior, you're the one who you get to live powerfully because you decided I'm going to meditate on the thing that is what I want. I'm going to meditate on the thing that is going to get me to where I want. I am not going to meditate on something that looks like it might be a problem for me, right? Does that make sense?
Can I say something?
I would love it.
So from my perspective, I noticed that when I started off meditating and changing my mental habits, I think that people need to be aware that they may be uncomfortable physically, in their body. If you're changing your mental thinking habits, you may be uncomfortable. You may not feel like, oh my God, this is working. Like you may feel like, hey, I'm trying this and I don't see the results, because we have that microwave society when it comes to not only things that we do personally, but we expect that in the outward world too. And meditation can be as simple as controlling your breathing. There's not, you don't have to go out and be like, oh, I'm going to mentally build a bridge. No, you can just breathe. You can just breathe. But what I have noticed is that meditation is so important when it comes to just knowing yourself. I think that if a person is not truly understanding their path and where they want to be, that will start with more of a thinking process. And so you may want to reflect on that. And so it can be seen as a self-reflection. It could be seen as a, let me reflect in my business. Let me reflect in my life. Let me reflect on my eating habits, or let me reflect on the things that I'm ingesting. And I know for me that I have experienced personally, and I say this because everybody has different experiences, but meditation for me, sometimes, I've been uncomfortable trying to meditate. And it's not been because it wasn't working. It's because I am changing my thought patterns. It is solely because I am doing something that my body, like Dr. Casey said, like my body is in resonance, right? So my body is resonating with what I'm doing. And the mind is so powerful. My body is probably like, oh my God, like we're going to do this today. That's important. That's important, especially.
I like that. We're going to do this today.
Your body's going to be like, oh my God, I guess we're going to do mindful thinking today. Your body is alive.
I can say that, and it's just something quick. It's just, as Tracy, I'm sure she can sign off on this, but your mind, your brain is a muscle, just like your heart, right? So it's just like exercising. Like you said, we about to do this right now. It's like you look at the card and it's like, oh, we're about to do some push-ups. You know, it's like the flesh arises and tries to fight against it. But yeah, you're right.
I love it. Speaking of that, one of the things I like to do is to be completely transparent. So, y'all, I have 100 pounds to lose, at least. Dr. Casey is helping me with this process. I'm coaching myself from a mindset perspective, right? I know all the things to do, right? We know how to do it. I'm like 50% there as it relates to actually activating in every area, right, that we've talked about. My regular exercise is still suffering. I mean, I'm eating. I'm even doing what Debrina Jackson Gandy calls true to form, right? Eating vegetables and fruit, and like, and I'm a true carnivore, right? So being able to kind of go and transition into that space for some period of time is a beautiful thing. So when we talked about our minds, right, living powerfully, says we do the things that we're supposed to do, even if our bodies is saying, you're procrastinating for whatever reason, or you put other things, helping other people before helping yourself. Dr. Casey, tell us why it is so important that we do these things first thing in the morning.
Oh, yes. I call it, it's not really a rule, but generally in the morning, there's definitely a piece. Not sure how early everyone wakes up, but 5 a.m. is a great time if you can hit 4:30, 5:30 a.m. But when you do things before it gets midday, and you are able to control your thoughts a bit more, it's just before like life kind of really starts to happen, meaning other people imposing in on your life. The sweet essence of the morning is truly the best time to put on the whole armor, period, and to get your mind ready for what might be coming next. So I include exercising, and if you're able to meal prep, the meal prep, exercising and preparing your meals for the day, for no excuses, because time is of the essence, and many times we don't want to do that. So incorporating your physical aspects, unless you're fasting, incorporating your physical aspects of food, speaking life, positive affirmations and confessions, and exercise, because no one wants to really exercise. Your flesh doesn't want to. And so doing it at a time where part of your body feels like it's kind of still asleep is, kind of tricking yourself. You feel like if you exercise before 10 a.m., before 8 a.m., you feel like you kind of have the rest of the day. So I encourage a lot of my clients, and I help them to kind of, knock on that door, get things that you do not want to do, pretty much put that on top of your list for the day. Whatever you're kind of despising, like, I do not want to do this, do it first.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, your creative juices for the rest of the day will just be flowing, because there's a little mental block that sits there because you're kind of daunting, like, oh, I still got to do this for the dog, or I still got to do this today. And it's stopping that creative part of your brain, the right brain, from working, because your left brain is so loud. The right brain is the creative side, right? So it's not flowing so much because that left brain has a little block in it, just to get to the neurodynamics of it. So yes, tap in, get all that left brain stuff out the way so the right brain can just have fun for the day. So try to do that before 10 a.m. Just knock it out.
I love it. So I'm going to do a quick share. Let me see if I can make this work. Am I sharing? Let me see. Ooh, yay. Can you guys see this flyer?
Yes, we can.
So this is actually what's happening today. We have one of our individuals who's super, super genius. His name is Damarlin Cisney. He's going to actually be joining us. He might be joining us a little bit later, but I know he's going to be joining us for some later sessions in this series. But this series is called The Scale Up Your Business and Your Life. Today is Thoughtful Thursday, June 1st. We're continuing to do this. Mindset Monday, June 5th. We'll continue this dialogue as well. It's a combination of mindset training and business training. So on Monday, we're going to get actually into some business training. So inviting people to join us to really focus on the business plan. It's going to be business planning for those who want to better tell their story, who might want to engage in a pitch competition, right? There's all kind of fun things that we have the opportunity to do. I am going to, let's see if this actually lets me change screens. Let's see. Can you still see my screen? Did the flyer change?
Yes, it did.
Oh, I love that. I love it when technology works. So great. So this is a series that's happening on June 22nd. So the Living Powerfully series, which is Mindset Mondays and Thoughtful Thursdays throughout June. We started actually in May, but we're going to continue it throughout June. And we're going to conclude the series with this session on June 22nd, on Thursday, June 22nd. Dr. Casey will be flying in. She will physically be here with us. I'm super duper excited. So the Living Powerfully series has a series of layers, right? So again, on Monday, we're going to go into some business planning. So join us again on Monday. We'll be talking about business planning, understanding what you're telling your story, the importance of who you are, who your clients are, etc. And really prepping anyone who might want to pitch for a pitch competition, right? The Black MBA has a pitch competition with the first place prize of $50,000. So more to come on that. But this session here on 622, I'm super excited about because it's called Living Powerfully, Wellness, Wealth, and the Art of Transformation. So I'm just curious if Dr. Casey wants to tell us a little bit about why these topics of wellness, wealth, and the art of transformation, why are these so important?
Wellness, wealth, and the art of transformation. So, I mean, for wealth, of course, I believe there's richness in wellness, and your health truly is your wealth. But balance is important. So while maybe starting your new lifestyle and in the midst of transforming, you don't want to get lost in one space. And so I know we're going to talk a lot about life balance and how to say, okay, I don't need to spend or shouldn't spend maybe 7 hours on this one thing or this main topic, but just execute and truly focus on that one thing to help transform gracefully. So I'm excited about this event and to hear all the speakers talk about transforming gracefully and having a life balance.
I love it. So the flyers changed just a little bit. So we have you, Dr. Casey, and that beautiful beige outfits.
That's my Pilates yoga vibe.
That's my after photo. Yeah. I'm the before, she's the after. So we're gonna work it out. So we also have Debrina Jackson Gandy, who is a master life coach. She's absolutely amazing. We've added Jennifer Ness Frankie because we're thinking about the topic of wellness and wealth. Like wealth, her company is called Fiscal Finesse. So that's really all she focuses on, is helping people to increase their wealth, right? And so we're gonna excited to bring her in. She is also one of the co-founders of an organization called BOBI, Black-Owned Business Excellence. So we're excited to bring her in and her community in as we continue to have these conversations on why entrepreneurs and business leaders, more so than anyone else, really needs to focus on their wellness, right? As they're pursuing their wealth, and really get their arms around what does it truly take to transform. So it is an art and a science of transformation, really, right? There's a lot of things that we're going to do. And then we, of course, have our current president of the National Black MBA Association, Dr. James Carter. He has an amazing story of wellness and really transformation. So I think super excited to have him as a part of this process as well. I have one more flyer I wanted to share with you all and to get your thoughts about. Let's see how strategic I can.
And I was going to say, Tracy, while you're changing that having that atmosphere immediately, or that balance as a caregiver or leader, listen, when I hear that leaders or captains, whoever, has taken a week off of just self-care, just like, or just a spa weekend, I just get excited
Mhm.
because we're essentially we're caregivers, and we tend, to put people before ourselves so much, and you put so much thought into helping, a person. That's a lot of energy. You think about that person all the time, right? And so, you just pray for them, but then just taking the time out for yourself and knowing that you need to actually triple what you suggest to other people, will make it'll just make you happy, and it'll help, keep your body healthy as well. So I just wanted to add that part in.
I love that. I love that. Anyone else want to share anything related to why this journey to live powerfully, why this is so important, especially for entrepreneurs?
Well, I would like to step in just a little bit because I went through a time, you're talking about how the transformation of your personal body is. I was still working and I was having a difficult time getting to the gym. And someone told me about Kaizen, taking small steps.
Mm.
And I made a plan. So the first day I showed up to the gym, I just went in there, sat on a bench and looked around. Use that visualization. Yeah, I could be using that machine, doing these kinds of things. Didn't spend very much time there. The next time I went to the gym was like I'd been there before, and I had. And over a period of time, I had a very rigorous program, lost 10 pounds, and was doing incredibly well. Then COVID hit, but nonetheless,
Mhm.
taking small steps. And one of the things that I learned about that is when you try to make a massive change, all those voices, all those things show up. You can't do that. That's way too foreign to you, way different. But when you do the small steps, you're just below the radar of those voices. Not, well, that's okay. That's just a little one. And then you start mastering that and you get a few reps under your belt, and pretty soon, hey, those voices have to go away because you've got the power of a history that's making the changes.
I
So
love it.
if you're trying to make a difference in the way you do your finances, you're talking about a massive change. You've had probably generations of doing things a different way.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
you're trying to incorporate new ideas that allow you never to have to make a late payment again. That's a
Mm.
very different world than the world of, I got to borrow money just to pay the late fees.
I love that.
That's a very different world.
I love it. Jonathan, part of what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Dr. Casey, we've had several conversations on this, and Jonathan, you and I have as well as Michela. But what we all know about change, about success, being successful when we change, this idea of living powerfully says we get to do things differently. So Dr. Carter is actually leading with me this series called the Better Together Empowerment Series. And so there's 3 elements of this process that we're bringing to community to say, hey, we get to do this work and we get to do it together, right? We get to do this work together. So this flyer, which I'm trying to make bigger than me, this flyer is actually, I think that might be as big as I can make it. Oh, that works too. So this flyer is about this $200 million community reinvestment fund. It's about the work we're doing with our business to increase our revenue, increase our reach, to save time. And it's also about telling your story and participating in some pitch competitions. So we next week on next Monday, we're going to go into these specific things. We've just kind of been bringing people together. We're going to go into and continue to work on this $200 million community reinvestment fund. There's free grants that are out there right now, active online. So just look up Community Reinvestment Fund online. Washington State, it's active as we speak. This idea of telling your story better, right? These pitch competitions. The National Black MBA Association has a pitch, and you can go to NB for National Black, and then MBA for obviously MBA, and then add another A for association, nbmbaa.org. And you can learn a little bit more about the Scale Up Pitch competition. It's a $50,000 prize. And the reason I wanted to share this flyer is this Better Together Empowerment Series, right? It's about three things, right? It's about fostering inclusion in business and in life. So doing things where we have been disproportionately negatively impacted. That's what that $200 million is for. That's for the negative impact in our communities. We actually get to drive change now. We actually have funds that are coming into our communities where we get to drive change now. Hearing about those dollars, you might think they're for someone else. What we came to tell you is that they're for you. They're for us. And so we're showing up, right? Mindset Mondays and Thirsty Thursdays, not Thirsty Thursdays.
Tracy, please don't mind.
I'm calling them thirsty because if you're thirsty for $200 million, I'm going to say show up, right? For Thoughtful Thursdays, Mindset Mondays throughout June. So this application, the first one is due July 1st. If it's something you think you're interested, show up. We're going to create a space for you. Make sure you have information, but really just showing up for yourself, right? This idea of also being able to pitch on Monday. Again, we're going to start the actual business planning part of this, but we just wanted to really create a space for you to understand that this is for you, by you. It is all about us truly driving change together. Anyone have any final words as we move to transition? I'm going to ask for you to just share of the things that we talked about today or prior sessions related to living powerfully. If you had to talk to one person about the one thing that they can do to live powerfully, what would that thing be? I'm going to start with Jonathan. I'm going to go to Michela. I'm going to go to Dr. Casey. Then I'm going to conclude. Jonathan, you got 20 seconds. What is that one action item you would tell someone to do?
The one action item I would recommend is to find one thing to grow and then do that on a regular scheduled basis every day. That would give you the momentum to start to change. And once you start getting success, you're on the road. For me, I started learning Japanese. I've been at it more than 460 days, using just a little bit of time every day. And I'm not speaking it, but I'm understanding it. And that,
I love that.
That's brain I've never thought about before.
That's huge.
It's something I think that's great. And the other part of that is my devotional. I do a devotional every day, reflecting on the word, trying to make sure that I see myself as a manifestation of what I believe.
I love it. Michela Grant, same question. Provide some advice. One thing that people can do to live powerfully.
Can I combine two? Because I have two things.
Totally. Absolutely.
I say get up. Get up. It doesn't matter. You fall, get up. Get up and pivot. Get up and pivot. Rechange your life. You can do it every day. You can do it every day until you get it right. That's all I want to say. Like, it's up to you, but have the courage to do it.
Get up. You heard it here. Dr. Casey Winans, same question, one piece of advice.
Yes. I just have to say, I took Japanese in college for 4 years, so it's a beautiful language. Then I love Michaela. I heard Michaela say bob and weave, low key.
Yeah, bob and weave, that's life, right?
I heard her say bob and weave, yes.
Yeah, that's life.
No, she's right. I can definitely say, I mean, honestly, I always go back to faith, because you have to have faith first to be able to speak life. So Tracy, I'm going back to your speech and your word. And I believe right now and going hard. So I would say speak life. And I can say two things. Speak life. And then, in my weakness, God is my strength. So consider eternal life and saying, Lord Jesus, I believe, and go from there. And stay strong in that, and just watch your eyes change, watch your desires change. And then I want to hear, if you take my advice, I want to hear the testimony from it. And I want to hear the blessing from it, because I expect and I know that you're going to receive the desire of your heart if you just take one step.
Well, Dr. Casey, you're going to be part of this series, right? You're joining us weekly until you physically get here at some point in time. We're going to have you as a part, and you're part of my personal journey as well. So how do people find you? What's the name of your business, and how do people find you?
I could say for now Instagram is best. Dr. Casey, just DrKacy, and I'll reply, I'll follow back and stuff, and we can have fun. So great. Yes, I will be back, and I look forward to hearing everyone's review and then everyone's blessings from this weekend. So guess I'll see you guys Monday.
I love it. So Dr. Casey Winans, someone put in the DM, is she one of the Winans?
I am.
Is she one of the Winans?
Maybe Monday I'll sing for you guys. No. I need it.
Y'all I need it.
I need to be there. I claim my spot.
Oh Lord, Michaela, that's hilarious.
I didn't know you had.
You should have led, Tracy. You should have led with that. You'd have had many more folks on the line here. Everyone would be having requests.
That is hilarious. We'll have some song requests. That's
we'll start with morning meditations and.
Hey, there we go. A little praise and worship on the side. I won't mind.
Can you sing?
I do sing. I've sing mostly at church. For most of my life, and I may be working on something.
But isn't that where it starts, though?
What'd you say?
Isn't that where it starts? Like to feel God move in you.
Definitely learn how to sing through my family singing in the house, and then services at church, and just my family sings all the time. So yeah, it's a blessing and it's fun, and I've always obviously been the sciencey one and the been a little book girl, but I don't know. I may be working on a little single, Tracy, so we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So for me, guys, let me just say the one thing. Listen, I'm excited. She knows I'm excited. But the other thing is, be open to those divine connections that happen in your life. Be open to the miracles that are right before us. Right? If you live a surrendered life, surrendered knowing that there's something bigger than you, then you actually have an opportunity to truly drive change. I could not be more excited. I am thrilled and delighted actually to be in a position to work with such amazing people, each of you. So I want to say, show up for yourself, surrender to something bigger than you. My company's called It's All Bigger Than Me for a reason, because it's all bigger than me. And what I would like to say is surrender and expect amazing things to happen. That's really the beginning of living powerfully. Expect miracles, divine thing, wonders. Expect that in your life, and it will happen. That's it, y'all. Monday we're going to do some planning. Apparently we're going to have some mindset and some song from Dr. Casey as well.
There we go. I'll get to writing.
Get ready. Hey, find the song, my favorite song, my personal anthem. It's actually by it's the theme song for my life, my business. It's called It's All Bigger Than Me is the name of my business because of a song that I heard by Leandra Johnson called Bigger Than Me. So I'll play it. I don't have really any singing skills, but I can kind of rap with it a little bit. She's like, don't let Tracy rap. Dr. Casey, you save it up. If you sing, then I don't have to. So.
Oh, Lord, that's so funny. Come on, Tracy. Use all your gifts, girl.
I have some amazing skills, and singing is not one of them. Let me just be clear.
That is not one.
Oh, goodness.
Save the public.
I was going to pull it off the table.
Oh, gosh. That's funny.
This is no negotiation.
Saving me from
I don't
myself.
know, Michaela and I are supposed to be the background singers, and I can tell you right now that I have 3 children. All of them got that gene that was the singing gene.
Really? I love it. Okay, y'all.
I didn't have anything
left
when I gave it away.
I'm telling you.
We love you, Tracy.
Y'all. See you on Monday. Monday, 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Bye.
Monday.
Bye.